Hey everybody, my name is Ivica. Thank you so much for joining me on the latest episode of I'm Gaming Podcast. This is a podcast about the video game industry, entrepreneurship, gaming nostalgia, stats from the Steam in 2024, and many more cool things I find to be in the same realm of business and creative ventures. Like always, first and foremost, a huge thanks goes to my Patreon supporters. Each and every one of you truly and really make this podcast possible. Without your generous and continuous monthly donations, I would not be able to continue making I'm Gaming Podcast, which I enjoy immensely, but which is possible because of you, dear Patreon supporters. So thank you all so much. This is episode 256, and it's all about the year coming to a wrap. And interesting fact about Steam and the biggest PC gaming market, the same interesting fact is that Steam published over 19,000 new games in 2024. That is an insane amount of games, and it's even more insane-er when you consider how many games the same platform published in years prior to this. So in 2023, there was around 14,000 titles that were released, so it's 5k more this year. And prior to that, in 2022, Steam published 12,000, so it's nearly double the number from 2 years ago. At the same time, the number of community profiles, a feature that games get when they reach a certain level of popularity, remains broadly the same. Around 4k games got the same status this year, while just a year before, around 100 less, so more precise 3,874 got that, and in 2021 it was around 3.4k games that got it. So the same, let's say, broad level of popularity in relative terms remains the same, but when compared to the rising number of published game titles and game releases, it shows that people are playing less and less games of those that are getting published. Also interesting to note is that in this year, only about 15% of total game time went to games that were published in the previous 12 months on Steam. When you include the fact that these 15% also cover huge, incredible big hits like Black Myth Wukong or Deadlock, you can simply come to the conclusion that out of those 19k published games, no one played anything. And the same trend will likely continue in 2024. Now that's really disheartening because on one hand, Steam is ready and willing and happy to publish almost anything because you pay that fee as a publisher. They already make money from that. You continue to push your game, promote it. Even if people don't buy your game, they go to the platform, they buy something else. So it's a win-win for them, even if your game is not played by anyone. But for the publishers, or more precisely developers, it should be a big red flag to understand that they're competing in a growing and meaningless environment of hyperproduction of games, where any kind of natural organic discovery is getting less and less possible because there is so much clutter. Next year, if this trend continues, we can expect anything from, 22k to 25 or 26k games, even 30k new games in 2025, which is insane, especially considering that no one will play those games. And not only that, they are making normal, let's say, heartfelt attempts from small developers, indie developers, to get to the big time, or at least get some level of audience, nearly impossible because they're simply creating so much noise, where you will simply go and either play an old game, which you kind of recognize and know and understand that it's pretty good, at least on a particular level, or you'll simply go for the biggest games that are out there. Super hits like Wukong, or massive multiplayer games that are out, that are doing really well, like Deadlock, and you'll ignore everything else. I'm not sure how can the publishers, small publisher, or more precisely indie developers or medium-sized developers, fight that tide of clutter and hyperproduction, I'm certain that Steam will not, or should not, from a business perspective, mind it, because like I said, they're just happy to get those initial $100 or whatever the fee precisely is, and get the free publicity that everyone generates by promoting their game and the platform itself. But some kind of quality assurance would be really useful. Otherwise, what will happen in 2026 or 2027? Will we see 50,000 published games on Steam? It sounds pretty much like madness to me. So it would be great if Steam did something about it, if Valve did something about it, because we surely need some kind of a solution here. But it won't come in 2024. That's all for this episode. It was just kind of an informative piece. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Check out my books on Amazon. Cheapest, easiest, fastest way to support me is to subscribe to my channel. That's all from me. Thanks again for watching. My name is Ivica. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you precisely 7 days from now. Until then, bye bye.